It's the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. And today we are joined by some special guests. We have Colonel Pat Dagon, the commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones, an area engineer for Southern Europe. Thank you both for coming on and being with us today.
And thank you. Thank you for hosting Bryce and I and allowing us to speak about Engineer Week, which is going to represent the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in the Europe District and talk about our programs and the value of engineering during this time.
Well, that's great. We're glad to have you on. You mentioned it earlier, sir. It's Engineering Week. What is this exactly?
Engineer Week is typically towards the end of February, and it was a week founded by the National Society of Professional Engineers in the 1950s. It's an opportunity for us to spotlight engineering, to ignite curiosity and spark enthusiasm across all disciplines and inspire a diverse and well-educated future engineering workforce. This year's theme in particular is reimagining the possible.
Sounds like a great idea. So why or how is engineering and STEM important?
Engineering is critical to our nation and the world's past, present, and future. The need for future engineers is critical, and that means encouraging our young people to explore careers in all the facets of STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Engineers are critical to everyone's day-to-day lives, making cities run, networks operate, and building for tomorrow.
Of course, it's super important to our everyday lives. So my next question is for Mr. Jones. How would you say, sir, that engineering impacts our day-to-day lives?
Engineering is everywhere. It's all around us. It's from the phones we use to the temperature settings of the air conditioning and the heaters, the roads we travel upon, the buildings that we work in. Engineering impacts our daily lives because it makes our lives more efficient and more comfortable. Specific to the Corps of Engineers, engineering enables the U.S. government to provide high-quality facilities for our families and service members on installations so they have the support needed to accomplish their unit's mission and also enjoy their tour. We're going to talk a little bit later on this discussion, but examples include DoDEA schools and dental clinics and hospitals, clinics. Engineering provides those facilities that make our lives better and more enjoyable. The other thing that's kind of cool about the impact to our daily lives beyond the project is every project is a partnership among various stakeholders. So specifically here in Europe, a key stakeholder are all the different various host nation government entities. So from the Ministry of Defense to the local armies and air forces and navies to our embassy partners, et cetera. And we get to execute our projects in concert and in partnership with them and not only provide facilities that help them do their job better and be more proficient in their mission and take care of their families, but also it helps us build that relationship and that partnership, which is incredible. And also an ultimate goal within engineering is to build that partnership, not just the facilities.
It's everywhere. You can definitely feel it. You can see it all over the place and can't imagine a world without it, especially for us here in Europe. And it's building our relationships with all of our allies and partners. Once again, that was Mr. Bryce Jones, the area engineer for Southern Europe, as well as Colonel Pat Dagon, commander for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Europe.
You're back with the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. Today we're joined by Colonel Pat Dagon, commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones, area engineer for Southern Europe. So we've been talking all about Engineer Week 2022, and now it's time to talk U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Europe. So I'm wondering, what kind of jobs and positions do engineers have in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers?
In the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we not only have engineers, but we also have architects and environmental scientists, biologists, contract specialists, real estate specialists, accountants, and that's just to name a few. And then after gaining experience in any of these disciplines, our team can choose to apply this expertise in project and program management as well. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we were established in June 16th of 1775, and have played a crucial role in the growth of our country, serving as designers and constructions of several significant landmarks throughout our country: the Washington Monument and the Pentagon, to name two, and then the Panama Canal just south in Central America, which is highlighted in The Path Between the Seas, a really great book about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers building the Panama Canal. We've always provided these engineering solutions for the nation's toughest challenges.
That's amazing. Such variety you guys have. So can you talk a little bit more about the types of projects that the Corps of Engineers work on here in Europe and Africa?
So before I talk about the specific projects that the Corps of Engineers works on in Europe and throughout Africa, and it's important to know that the Corps of Engineers executes design, contracting, and construction for many different entities throughout Europe and Africa. And so that would include all the U.S. Army garrisons throughout Europe. We execute work for them. We also execute work for the various embassies throughout those different continents. So I know we've talked about my area office being responsible for about 2,800 miles. Colonel Dagon and the district is responsible for an extremely large area covering multiple continents, and that's the design, the construction, and the contracting of various types of projects. We also execute projects for various host nation armies, host nation air forces, navies, and also the U.S. Air Force and Army throughout those areas and those continents. So I know I worked in Europe District for about 15 years total across my career, and I've worked in 8 different countries. And from that experience, I've learned that the Corps of Engineers has an extremely diverse portfolio of projects that are continuously being designed, contracted, and constructed at any given time across those different continents. And some examples of projects that we continuously perform under the leadership of Colonel Dagon is military projects, for example, airfields, construction of new airfields and renovating airfields, massive multi-million-dollar fuel points to support the aircraft and their missions for training and also for real-world missions, hangar projects, many joint training ranges. So I know people that are listening to this, they're very familiar probably with Hohenfels and Grafenwehr. We've built similar training ranges throughout Southern Europe. Also the construction or renovation of administrative buildings to be able to provide like high quality, fully functioning space for all the different units to work in. Massive headquarters renovation projects like where USARAF is situated. The Corps of Engineers built that facility, as well as CTAF-AF down here in Italy built that headquarters and multiple other headquarters throughout those continents. And then barracks projects to make sure that our service members are housed with great space also. And then lastly, just for the community also, there's tons of non-military support projects that support the community. For example, roads, utility projects, parking lots, big housing program, hospitals, dental clinics, pool projects, renovations of PXs, etc., and then schools. So across that whole footprint, the Corps of Engineers is executing hundreds and hundreds of projects all concurrently every single year to be able to provide the facilities to be able to achieve the mission, and then also the support for the families. And then again, back to the partnership with the host nation and all of their needs and our joint coalition needs to be able to fight as one joint force.
Huge impact you guys have. Again, that was Colonel Pat Dagon, Commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones, Area Engineer for Southern Europe. We have some more time with them coming up next. Keep it locked right here to the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.
You're back with the Joint Force here on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. And today we're joined by Colonel Pat Dagon, Commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones. He's an area engineer for Southern Europe. And we're talking all about Engineer Week. It's a big time here. So what kind of jobs are folks open to in engineering? What jobs do you two have, for example?
So currently I work as the area engineer for Southern Europe. An area engineer, in layman terms, is the senior construction supervisor for all USACE construction within an area. And the area I work in are the 7 countries in Southern Europe, and it spans generally the width of the United States, about 2,800 miles. This role is extremely challenging because each of the 7 countries have a different language that they utilize, right, as their host nation language, different culture, different engineering codes, a different climate. All of our 23 installations are spread out across roughly a 2,800-mile distance, which presents a big challenge in execution of work. This role is very challenging and diverse, but therefore also very rewarding, as every day you can see the impact of one's decisions on the project site and the project completion. In this role, it's pretty cool. I get to work inside and outside of the office, so that also adds to its diversity and also its excitement. So I get to serve in these critical leadership role and utilize our joint teams engineering knowledge to resolve issues and deliver for our customers. And when I say joint team, I mean everything we do in the Corps of Engineers is with a joint team, from our contractor and the Corps of Engineers and our host nation partners, all working together to be able to deliver these projects. As far as specific jobs within the Corps, there's a ton of possibilities and broad opportunities, from design to construction, project management, program management, real estate, contracting, etc. What's awesome about the Corps of Engineers is we're a worldwide organization. So you can be with one organization and be able to be in all these different roles, and then you can work in different locations throughout the world and then experience those different languages and cultures and then further broaden yourself and diversify yourself. There's also a ton of opportunity for leadership. There's a great mentorship program and then a series of different leadership levels. So as you work your way up through technical engineering, there's a tremendous amount of ability for people to be serving in leadership roles within the Corps. Last piece on this, because I'm pretty pumped and excited about the Corps, I love the Corps, is it's alive. The application of all that STEM training and education can be applied to a real-world project where you impact customers and you impact the host nation and you provide facilities for families and you diversify yourself and you can work in an environment where those decisions you make every day and applying that knowledge are real and you can see the effect. I highly recommend anybody and everybody working with the Corps of Engineers.
Well, absolutely. It sounds like you have quite the significant role that you play in your job. Now, sir, what about you? What kind of job do you have?
Bryce covered it so well. In the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we have 37,000 people worldwide. Less than 1,000 of those are active duty service members. But what I get to do is command this incredible district with a strategic mission to support both EUCOM and AFRICOM and other DoD organizations that are present within Europe, AOR. As an engineer soldier, though, starting our career, I served as a combat engineer. We're also known as sappers, and in that role, I provided mobility, counter-mobility, and survivability to infantry and armor task forces. We also have construction engineers that provide contingency construction and geospatial engineers providing visualization of land and battlefield. And then sometimes there's opportunity for our junior soldiers. We have 2 junior officers, 2 lieutenants working for Bryce right now in his office that have done platoon lead. They've been a platoon leader, potentially been an executive officer, and have transitioned to his office to just get a taste of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, what we do, and then hopefully go back to the tactical Army and then come back to U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and serve in the leadership roles Bryce mentioned. But I served in these tactical positions until about my 10th year of service in the Army. And then I came over to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And it was only then that I began to appreciate all the stuff Bryce just described to us about the capability and the talents that reside in USACE and allow us to deliver this program.
Sounds like you guys are vital to the region and you guys are very proud of what you do. And once again, that was Colonel Pat Dagon. He's commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones. He's an area engineer for Southern Europe. Coming up here on the Joint Force, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Engineering Week and STEM.
It's the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best, joined by Colonel Pat Dagon, commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones, an area engineer for Southern Europe. We've been covering Engineering Week 2022. Now, Engineering Week may be appealing to those listening out there, so how can those who are interested in engineering or any of the career fields within STEM learn more about it?
I kind of see this as 2 pieces. One is for students, and then number 2, as Colonel Dagon mentioned, further broadening of company-grade engineer officers within our AOR. So for the student piece, our partners in DODEA here in Europe provide many opportunities for students interested in STEM beyond the grade education. Some of those opportunities include partnering with the local schools, where we have representatives from the Corps of Engineers be able to go out and meet with students that are working through the STEM curriculum and be able to provide some mentoring visits with them. I believe also there are some tech fairs and things like that where there's that interface between the students and then people that have followed that STEM path and that STEM education and are now working in that field from our field offices. As far as for junior officers, as Colonel Dagon also mentioned earlier in this discussion, we've established a partnership among the Corps of Engineers and the local engineering unit So here in Italy, we have the 54th Brigade Engineer Battalion, and they have outstanding officers, but specifically outstanding junior officers that have been able to participate in this broadening assignment where after they complete student leader time and then potentially XO time, then they're able to broaden their career by coming over within the Corps of Engineers and work within our field office, and then they can bring their talent and their pace and their focus and their organization and leadership ability to our team, and then learn more detailed STEM-related skills by applying their abilities to more detailed, more technical construction and engineering problems. It helps, like Colonel Dagon said, to broaden their career, broaden their abilities, and then help them be successful not only in their current tour, but future tours, whether they're downrange, building things in that environment, or they're working at a district in the future, or just with their situational awareness and understanding of what the Corps of Engineers does, both on a line unit compared to a more of a district environment. So again, just to kind of wrap that up, we've got DEM development at the student level, but then also in that first tour, the Corps of Engineers is partnering with our local engineering unit to be able to broaden those officers' abilities and make a massive impact to our program.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for sharing all this information. As we close out our time together today, what message would you like to leave Joint Force Nation with?
First, thanks for having us on today. I think you can hear our excitement about STEM and our ability to pass it on and our enthusiasm to pass it on. But, it gives us an opportunity to talk about our Europe district team as well, but also about getting kids involved and interested in a career in science and technology, engineering, and math. We pride ourselves on attracting the best STEM talent. And I think as a final comment, I might just say, I encourage everyone to stay curious, actively and aggressively pursue your education, and use your talents and creativity to join us in reimagining the possible as we're highlighting throughout this Engineer Week.
Reimagining the Possible. That's Engineer Week 2022. Again, that was Colonel Pat Dagon, Commander for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Mr. Bryce Jones, Area Engineer for Southern Europe. That's all right here on the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.